Alright, good morning everybody. Today we're going to be looking at how to evaluate functions, which is just a fancy way of saying how do we plug in values into a function, okay? So we're going to get started quickly just by, having an example, something like y equals 3x plus 2. And the question might be asking, find y when x is equal to 2. So we have to evaluate, which is a fancy way of saying plugging in or replacing the x value with x equals 2, okay? So we're going to take the equation, and instead of putting in x, I'm going to put a times 2, because that's what 3x represents, 3 times x. And then we have 3 times 2 plus 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So when x equals 2, y equals 8. Okay? Let's try it out again. Except now suppose our equation is y equals 2x squared minus 1. So find y when x is equal to 3. So same thing, you're going to replace the x with a 3, because that's what it means to evaluate. We're going to follow order of operations, and that tells us that exponents are done first. So 3 squared, it's the same thing as 3 times 3, so that's 9. So this is 2 times 9 minus 1. 2 times 9 is 18, and if we take away 1, that's 17. So y is equal to 17. Okay? So here, when x is equal to 3, y is equal to 17. We're going to do one more, and this is actually going to introduce a new type of function, which you may have seen before, okay? It's called the absolute value function, okay? It looks something like this. And what this does is it basically takes the number and it tells you how far away it is from 0. So it's a positive number, okay? A lot of people like to think it's just a positive number. For example, the absolute value of 3 is 3 because you're 3 units away from 0. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4. So if it helps, just it makes it positive, okay? So suppose the equation is y equals 2 times the absolute value of x minus 1. So find y when x is equal to 2. Okay? So all you're going to do is you're just going to replace the x with a 2. And you can sort of treat these like parentheses. 2 minus 1 is 1, right? What's the absolute value of 1? 1. So it's 2 times 1, which is 2. That's equal to y. So when x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2. One last thing before I let y'all head out and do your work. Another way to say this, it's going to be kind of confusing. Another way to say that is f of 2 equals 2. What this means is, let me use a different color for this. That means x equals 2. That means y is equal to 2. Okay? So in the previous problem, right, you're writing this down, hopefully. In the previous problem, x equals 3, y equals 17. F of 3 equals 17. This means when x is equal to 3, y is equal to 17. And so sometimes instead of saying like y equals 3x minus 1, you might see, right, some books or some homework assignments where it says f of x equals 3x minus 1. This is just another way to say y, okay? So I'll give you an example. Suppose we have f of x equals 3x minus 1, or y equals 3x minus 1. What is f of 4? Remember, this is not f times 4, okay? It's the y value when x is equal to 4. So this means, I'll write this out. This means if x equals 4, what does y equal? And all you got to do is replace the x with 4. Right? 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 1 is 11. So f of 4 is equal to 11. This means when x is equal to 4, y is equal to 11. Go ahead and click on the link to log in to IXL using your Google login, and then try out the assignment, okay? And be sure to answer the 2 questions.